I think it was versus PaperX, they got battered 13-1. So there's not something you expect to see from them in the early stages. So they definitely can start that little bit slow. Of course, we do have the sort of...
and take space towards that A site, but Matt is not going to have an easy time. They're immediately looking to put the pressure on. He has evaded their sights, though.
Yeah, this could be a problem. They're going to walk directly into each other. It's not the prettiest of fights, but most importantly, it will be that opening pick. And now they're looking to try and wrap back around. The double initiator on this side of the map. You might be looking at a fade, but for Woot, that's almost definitely a secondary duelist. Never mind, it's Riyadh to do the work, but Ethan has still kept them firmly in control. Only Boo left standing, and he will walk into the grass for the opposing IGL as well. Solid start for NRG, and as we saw in the last map, those pistols in best of ones.
But Mata still draws breath. The gun is still there, and they will be diving into this A site very, very soon. I think he spotted a few. Well, that works.
This seems like Mata's a little bit cursed. He's been dinked, then spammed. Of course, the gun's been upgraded. There's still 4 rifles as they started with, but now that time is starting to tick, and they want to try and get in towards the A side. The delay, though, from this defensive side has been fantastic. They're walking straight into the blender, as all that is left is Som. He's going to need one hell of a stream highlight to get out of this one.
A little bit of damage done to Rienz and Boo, but look at the firing squad with Boo ready to swing after. That's a beautiful setup, and even though he lands the first shot, there was no chance of him getting out of there unscathed. He still sat in the right position, still having this trap set up on C. I think the hope from NRG is that they would have pulled back, and this ultimate on A is for that exact purpose, but they're not moving out of position.
And she's been tagged so desperately low. Matt has done well on the opener, and then brought quickly able to trade. They're going to make the flip back towards the B side. The thing is, there is still a player waiting around this angle. That is Woot, trying to delay them as much as possible, but the snakebite is solid. The B push from Brock has led to his demise, and because of that, Heretics don't want to overface it. They don't want to try and re-aggress before they can get the full force of their squad in position. With no ultimates available for either side, it'll be a stalemate for the moment.
And they've got that Viper orb up towards the B connector into C. Ethan stunned up on the way back through. That's a great stun lineup from Rienz, but Scuba manages to pick one coming out of heaven. Makes it a little bit easier for Som, who then only had to win his 1v1. And with those kills connected, NRG are back to winning ways.
Yet to have people in the arena just yet. Maybe that adds an extra layer of pressure, and well, I'm sure you're already happy, Mitch, seeing that Odin on the attack side.
Oh, I love to see it. It hasn't landed the damage, but it did send players backwards. Nice showstopper landed. Banshee Fishy down. Rienz drops, and they know that he's here. They're ready for the fight.
Really?
Rienz putting the ult through. This is a 2 versus 4. He's basically alone on this site and feels confident to take the battle, but they have overwhelmed him with the numbers. That feels like a bit of an overcommitment, and now Boo's left in a 1v3. They want this round. They've already committed a lot to it.
My man just went for a 1v4 site hold, maybe thinking that they weren't as far into the site as they were, so he could reclaim some of that space and potentially buy time for Boo, but that was, yeah, it was one hell of a bold ultimate. Maybe not valuing it as highly as we do, and just thinking, all right, I could throw this in and try and be the hero, but I think Boo has made the realization that there really isn't a way back into this site to defeat them was Fnatic, and then they head over to Masters, and sure, I think you look at the end result of Wolves and you go, oh, it should have been them winning, but I think at the start of the tournament, nobody would have expected that. Minibu at least has started off well. Steel Garden will quickly remove his gun, but he does have teammates to support. This at least gives the space, or at least you think it does. Never mind. The defenders are coming back swinging, getting into their face. The Odin again, and now Scuba strikes one more time. He might not have the most kills, but talk about impact. And Minibu, the man who started it all off, is going to be left solo. Probably having absolutely no idea what ground has been lost. A decent read, but he's got to get the timing just right, and he does. That's one to his name. Brock, well, he knows what gun is on the other side, but he doesn't have a clue where he is.
He's just stood here. 45 seconds left on the clock. He hasn't even picked up the spike. He's just waiting for Minibu to walk on through, positioned with the big machine gun. An Odin in the pit. Really disgusting to have to fight back through. There's almost no choice but to make it up through heaven. Late play going to be attempted by Benji Fishy to lurk through that pit. Woot finding two. Okay, now we're on the board. Now it's looking doable. That might just draw the eye, but the Odin spam inside the pit proves too deadly. In goes Benji Fishy, dropping the pit and leaving Brock alone, but he's landing another on 6 HP. Trying to bait the player off the defuse, and by now he knows he's done it. Time on his side as it ticks away. Attempted spray is good. The time desperately low, and it's 0.1 of a second in it. Oh, what an attempt by Brock. And the whole idea was to push towards this site.
Real trouble.
I mean, he's gotten himself up on the boxes. Even with the classic here, the snake bite's going to buy him a bit of time. I thought he'd be in good form, but Matt has picked him off immediately. Great read.
Nightfall earned in the last round by Whoop. Going to delay them a little bit. They don't have any flank available. They're going to throw in the Rolling Thunder. They're putting everything in here to try and stop NRG and what might just be working. Boo combining with Whoop, leaving this down, but Scuba, he's been so good in the most crucial rounds, and well, we don't even need to talk about Brock at this point. You know what he's doing. 40 seconds left, Spike on the deck, but considering one of these teams has just used multiple ultimates to delay, the fact that this is still a 2v2, it's a very scary prospect.
Left.
They're going to go swinging through that smoke, but the reposition from Mini Boo, it's perfect. The timing here couldn't be better as he gets his way up to the box. Boo's almost gone down to that spam. He's now 30 HP, 15 seconds as they pushed away. They've spotted Mini Boo on the side, but the brothers combined to take this one across the line. The big old gun. They've walked through B. I'm not sure. I mean, we talked about it, not playing with a Sentinel. Can they leave you gaps? And an okay, you have Odin spams, you've got Showstopper opening, you've got deep push through from Som, who's going to get an easy pick, and he is not even the tip of the spear. That's being driven into their back as a huge rotation comes in from Scuba, who's just now being spotted. Mini Boo looked at him and looked away. He was like, oh, it must be a teammate. Yeah, but why is he red? That's a shocking round from NRG, who just get gifted all this space.
He was about to call a tech pause. He's like, yeah, I think I'm seeing the enemy, or my teammates as enemies. Boo's done well, though. A fight that, well, could have turned things back, but Wu immediately falls, and you can just see the change up in positions. NRG are playing a fantastic game strategically. The round beginning was almost perfect, just a hard read on where their opponents have been playing. The wraparound was sublime, but the second it gets into the late round, they are not giving anything away. Boo has got to go hunting for these remaining players, and even if he managed to get the first, there was another just around the corner. A fantastic round from the side of NRG. I dare to think what we're about to see going into the defense from Brock, but nonetheless, Boo's still up close. Has the weapon for these close-range battles, but he's about to be swarmed. A single kill would be nice. You know what? He's done well, but he doesn't have the bullets to play with. Immediately traded out by Mada for what he had. That's not bad. It's at least a 1-for-1. That's not, though. Rien's normally sublime with the pistols, but he doesn't even get a chance to shoot Mini Boo. He's found a gap. He's found an angle. He's found a chance to maybe take this home, but it's the Odin that puts him down. And now Brock, this round maybe should have been put to bed already. He's going to be left into that 1v1. Here's the steps coming, but has to now reposition. Time.
10 seconds left.
Needs to get that down. He will do. Benji hasn't managed to do as much as he'd like, but he will force him into an awkward position. It will at least be a 4th round.
This is it.
I feel like it's going to be Mini Boo, but Mini Boo's so low, I don't know if he'll want to take this space. If he does, it will end up being quite funny, because they'll probably send some utility through. The only problem is there's only one player on the other side of it, so there's actually a very real chance he wins that battle. Boo, a cheeky corner that hasn't been checked. He's looking for a little bit more there. Oh, no, it's not pretty, but eventually gets the job done. The problem is the defense have taken most of the rest of the site back, leaving Mini Boo low on HP. The brothers need to try and drag this pistol home, and Scuba's just been waiting the whole time back of that site. Boo can't hold on, and that is another pistol round in the favor of NRG. I'll be honest, I'm super impressed with how they're playing at the moment, Mitch. Like, they look incredibly...
Looks like Team Heretics are still looking for options on where to take this. Pressure applied to B, trying to drag rotations. It's put pressure on Mata. There's going to be point of contact, landing the first. Blast pack thrown deep as he bails on out. And a good reset here with the Viper Wall, providing them a safe haven, a safe way to get back to this A site.
The wall has been tripped, but there's a man sitting on the other side. So someone's going, yeah, you've always been tripped, but there's no one here. They are definitely going in the other direction. They can look to try and stack up the other side of the map. Alert coming through from that A side, but they will now get in at least to try and get that plant, or at least they should. Eventually, you're going to see Woot make that move. They do have to be careful of those same spams, but he's just about been able to avoid them, and Boo is trying to desperately defend from the 3 players coming through that B link.
Well, this is a round that Heretics need to win. A loss here should be NRG running away with the end of this. That's a huge reveal! Som grabs a double on the back of it. Benji Fishy forced back by the Vice Flash. It wasn't destroyed earlier somehow, but he's able to destroy the first player through. Unfortunately, Mata and Brock still drawing breath, easily deal with those last players. And with the defuse across the line, with 3 players to watch this squad playing Valorant here on our stage, 12-4, 8 rounds in a row needed. And I stress that this was probably the heavier underdog in these matchups. What a resurgence from that stage previously played out in Americas. This squad's come back fighting
Spike down
for their honor. Doing a damn good job of it with Boo left alone, ult used to reposition, but now the spike down, and he's going to have to fight his way back towards getting it. Being held by Scuba, being flanked out by Brock as well, and no idea where these players have gotten to. The jump found by Scuba, his 3rd of the round, and a solid showing here